Hello everyone and welcome to another game of World of Warships. Today's replay is from ZoOLf. He is in the Des Moines, a tier 10 US cruiser. He's on the map Trap in a 3-point domination game mode. It's obviously a tier 10 battle. And the enemies have an advantage with one more destroyer. There are no carriers around. So we shall see how this goes. Now, before I talk further about this battle, just something that I should mention very quick. I provide a link usually in my description to submit me replays and upload link to our replays. The idea is if you use my upload link, then your replay gets added to a list and I can always check the list and therefore pretty quickly check if there are any replays submitted to me. Now unfortunately this function hasn't been working, I'm afraid, for probably the last week or 2 weeks, I don't know. I'm investigating. And I've emailed Jamin, who is a nice host of our replays, who has been providing me with this feature for a while now. So you can always just send me an email, by the way, and you can send also a link to our replays upload in this email. The email is in the video description. Just if you have submitted something recently, I might be unaware of it. And I truly apologize for that, and I'll hope to get it fixed soon. Anyway, let's get back to this battle. Now, ZoOLf has just eaten quite a bit of damage from the Missouri, and he was unfortunately a bit broadside to a battleship, and that can hurt a lot. But more importantly, he has used his radar, and he has used his radar to great success, because the enemy destroyer got taken down. Now, this was not only his doing, his team obviously helped. The friendly destroyer, unfortunately, in the center got taken down as well. Now, more so, the friendly team here basically got point Charlie for free up in the north, and a huge amount of the friendly team has gone not so much south. They kind of went down there. Kagero, unfortunately, I think he was in the center in the beginning, but he decided to help out at Point Alpha, which is in a way a decent choice because they want a destroyer down there. But the friendly ships aren't near enough. This Iowa is already in a retreat. The Atago is in a way too aggressive position for a tier 8 ship in a tier 10 battle. So it's looking pretty bad down there, and those ships are in no position to push towards A. That friendly destroyer should be already retreating. The friendly team really should focus on the center point. There is no reason to push here in the south. The enemies have most of their ships down there. And, I mean, the friendlies here in the north can support a push on the center, but they can do nothing here in the south. Now, ZoOLf is using his hydro and he is very carefully sailing towards the center. And, well, he's basically waiting for his battleships to get in the front. He is aware that there might be torpedoes coming, and thanks to Hydro, it's possible that the friendly Bismarck is using Hydro as well, but they should see torpedoes in time to dodge them. And very soon radar is ready as well, which should be pretty nice with this push. The battleships are coming in. And it looks like the Hydro is enough to see the enemy destroyers. They are hiding here in smoke and they have nowhere to run. So those torpedoes should be easily dodged. They are spotted right away thanks to the Hydro. And the destroyers aren't fast enough at running away. So 2 destroyers down. This New Orleans should go down here momentarily. And there is a double strike. So nicely done, nice push here by the friendly team. And they will now hopefully be able to capture the center. And this push also eliminated all enemy destroyers. They were too complacent. I mean, when a new Des Moines is coming for you, you really have to expect radar or Hydro or something. And they were just sitting still in smoke for too long. They were really thinking that the smoke would provide sufficient cover for them. They were wrong. So, friendly team is still a little bit behind, but they are hopefully able to turn this around. Now, there is a friendly Bismarck who is unfortunately too aggressive right now and in a position where he has no support. The friendlies here will move into the center, and ZoOLf will now be able to get behind this island here, and he should have reasonable cover They should be able to sit here unspotted and use the US shell arc to hopefully set some ships on fire. Meanwhile, unfortunately, the Iowas and the Moskva here are not in an ideal position. I mean, they are still in a good position to harass those enemies, but if they keep going there, then they will soon be behind an island and not so helpful. They should really hold position up here in the north, I think. They can't just sit here next to the cap circle and provide fire support, but I really don't want to move the long way around here. I feel like it would just cost them too much time, and the enemy has more ships, so the friendlies can't afford to have ships out of the battle, even if it's only for a few minutes. Now, so far, the enemy team isn't aggressively pushing. All the friendlies have to do here is defend, so that's what they are kind of doing right now. And yeah, unless the enemy organizes and pushes in here in force, this could just... I mean, there is a lot of time left on the clock, but yeah, I mean, time is definitely on the friendly side. Now ZoOLf is in a perfect position, nobody can harm him right now. And also positive, of course, the enemies don't have any destroyers, they don't have anybody who can sneak in here, who can harass the friendlies with torpedoes, which means the friendly ships, if they are the battleships, if they're sitting in a nicely angled position, they should be able to do a lot of work here. Now, as I said before, unfortunately those Iowas, they continue their route up here in the north. They should really just try to stick with the friendly team. I mean, they don't have to be inside the cap circle, but they have to be near enough that they can provide fire support. And I understand that they want to rejoin the friendly team, but they've also could have gone here in front, I guess. It's just that currently now those two Iowas are probably not doing an awful lot, and unless they continue their turn and end up here supporting the friendly team. Yeah, it's also in a very bad timing, because right now the enemies are starting to push. Now the enemies have been, I guess, maneuvering for a while now, but the enemy line is spread out, and if the enemies push in like this, they can kind of encircle the friendlies. I mean, those islands provide a little bit of cover, but the enemies are moving out actually in a very nice formation. Okay, not all enemies are moving out. I mean, that Kurfürst should definitely be in the front, but I mean, ZoOLf has lost the advantage in his position because he is now spotted, and with the enemies moving in flanking positions, he won't find full cover against all enemies. Now, on the bright side, the Iowas have finally come around here, and they are now joining the force. All friendlies are basically at this position. Thanks to the lack of destroyers, they don't have to be that worried about torpedoes, and the friendly team can just bunch up here. And look at that, there is North Carolina showing full broadside. Now we can see some US armor-piercing shells at work here. Well, I mean, I was hoping for a little bit more damage, but guess the range might not be that ideal as well. But he is constantly doing damage to this North Carolina. The reload on the Des Moines is obviously very nice. And, well, for some reason the North Carolina is also not willing to angle in any way. Now there is an enemy Bismarck who has now entered the cap. But I mean, he is still here behind an island. ZoOLf is quite safe from that. Now that's one enemy dealt with, but there is still a Missouri down there somewhere who could shoot at ZoOLf. There is a Donskoy moving in position from behind, and this Iowa should hopefully be a little bit more aggressive. Should be at the front like the other Iowa, I suppose. And enemy Minotaur is moving in, that's an ideal target. Minotaur is not so well armored, and he is getting some nice citadels here. That's goodbye Minotaur, and then there is a Bismarck who is almost down as well. So that's the second double strike. That's nicely done, and suddenly it's 4 against 4, and it's looking nice for the enemy team. They have an advantage in points, although it now depends on how healthy are the enemies and how healthy are the friendlies. Now the enemies are still in a somewhat of a flanking position. We haven't seen the Kurfürst here for a while, which is surprising. Of course, the Kurfürst could have made it anywhere near the battle a long time ago. And I mean, it's a Kurfürst. You are not really hiding a Kurfürst. So it looks like the enemy Kurfürst is really camping behind an island and lobbing shells in battleship. I mean, if the Kurfürst would be right here leading the charge, the enemies might have won this engagement already. And so found himself a high caliber. The enemy Missouri went all the way around in order to flank. That wasn't the wisest move. The Missouri should have held position when he was at a good angle. If the Missouri was down here right now, the friendly team would have been absolutely wrecked already, but he chose to delay his approach right there. And of course, if the Missouri makes it behind the friendly lines, it's bad, but he could have been so much more devastating by just staying here. It's 3 against 3, but the friendly Iowa is almost down. ZoOLf is almost down, and my Missouri has way too much health. Friendly Bismarck, I guess, is just going straight towards A, but he won't be able to capture that because there is a Kurfürst sitting in there. There has been a Kurfürst sitting in there for a very long time. So it would probably have been better for the Bismarck to try to turn around and maybe try to intercept the Missouri. Now the Donskoy is also, I guess, hiding behind an island for reasons unknown. So thankfully the enemy team didn't play this perfectly, but it's still looking pretty desperate. Now the friendlies have a point lead despite everything, but the point lead will be over pretty soon, I'm afraid. The enemies are now capturing the center, and while this looks like a good idea for a Bismarck to go out there and capture Point Alpha, there is a Kurfürst sitting in there, and yes, here we see the shells. Kurfürst that has been camping here for, I don't know, 10 minutes for also reasons unknown. And, well, I mean, at least the Kurfürst is nice enough to show broadside, but when we look around here, there is the Missouri and there is the Donskoy, and everybody is shooting the Bismarck, and these enemies have way too much health left. So this is probably ending very soon. Now let's take a look at the result. We've managed to get 1796 base experience. And a loss. Yeah, it was a very good game from him. Unfortunately, it was not enough to win. The friendly team lost too many resources trying to take Point Alpha in the beginning. They probably should have retreated sooner and focused more on the center. But it was an exciting battle. Now ZoOLf earned himself 2 double strikes, Kraken, High Caliber and Confederate. He scored almost 200,000 points of damage, sunk 6 enemy ships, and it just wasn't enough. Which is a bit sad, but I found it a good game anyway. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time.